Okay, alright, this is Sean here. I'm going to be doing a quick VOD review for Mrs. Dean's Elise Jungle. We played a couple days ago, and I'm just going to be trying to put this together real quick. It's going to be nothing super special, just a quick overview on jungle pathing, build orders, and making sure runes and masteries are all correct. And then we'll just see how the late game goes and what he does in the late game as well. Alright, so first starting off real quick, we'll just go over runes real quick. The optimal rune setup for Elise Jungle currently is 9 attack speed reds, 6 CDR blues, 3 AP blues, 9 scaling health, 1 armor quint, and 2 AP quints. The only difference here is he ran a little bit of magic resist here, and 3 of the AP quints here. Like I said, the only difference really is you just drop 1 of the AP quints for an armor quint and drop your 3 magic resist for more AP on the blues. Other than that, that looks fine. Skill build order is perfectly in line. Masters are perfectly in line. The only thing that I would change with the actual item build itself over here is instead of going Sork boots, it'd be more beneficial to run mobility boots, especially on Elise, since you really don't enter combat unless you hit a cocoon. So you pretty much permanently gang that, and it allows for better pick potential rather than the burst damage, especially when your team has 3 really high damage dealers in Lucian, Vagar, and Talon up here. Lots of damage. You didn't need to have as much magic pen on you yourself. It'd be better for you to be able to make the picks for them. Alright, the only other thing would be instead of rushing the Zanyas as a second item, you'd want to push your Zanyas off to your 3rd or 4th item down here, and instead grab something like a Ryla's Crystal Scepter or Leandri's Torment second. So, first back, you want to go Boots, second back, you want to finish your enchantment, third back, maybe Haunting Guise, or just the AP components of a Ryla's Crystal Scepter. Third back, get either your Deadman's Plate or your Spirit Visage. Fourth back, or fourth item, I mean, would be your Zanyas. Then the other thing is, you usually on Elise you do want to start Hunter's Talisman or Hunter's Machete instead of Hunter's Talisman, just simply because Hunter's Talisman is the extra AD on auto attacks, gives you 25 extra AD. I believe the exact numbers is 25 extra damage on every single auto attack versus monsters, which in turn gives you a faster jungle clear due to Elise's attack speed steroid. The extra base mana regen and the 25 health over 5 seconds really only equates to 5 health a second, and you're just going to be killing them faster by using the 10% lifesteal plus 25 bonus damage on hit per monster. So you can see you just get a whole lot extra damage with the Hunter's Machete, allowing for fastest clear. So you run Hunter's Machete instead of Talisman and refillable pots instead of the health potion. It allows you to clear for longer, and you don't have to ever spend money on health potions pretty much the rest of the game. So that's going to be it for the general setup for the game. Runes, masteries, everything else looks pretty well. Just keep in mind this exact rune setup is a little more optimal, since the extra armor actually allows for, I think it's approximately 2% less damage when you have 5 armor's worth. I think like 2% less damage against jungle monsters, since they have 0 armor penetration whatsoever. So that's the only thing that we'd change for that. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the actual in-game. Sorry. So first things first is we're just going to look at the setup and what would be a starting optimal clear path. So on Elise here, one of the most optimal clears is going to be what's known as a early gank route. So what you do is you start here at your red buff, which is perfectly what you're doing. So you start red, and then you move over, you take your wolves, you take your grump, you take your blue, and what you do is, by the time you take your blue, they're the little plant right here that gives vision in a cone like this. It will be up and available for taking, so you can go grab that. It pushes through their jungle, make sure you're not going to get counter ganked, and then you get a nice easy gank on top lane, especially with Elise. 1 cocoon early in the game is a guaranteed kill. It just is, or you'll at least blow summoner. So what you want to do is, instead of, I did look at the jungle route you took a little earlier, this is just a more optimal setup. So Red buff, wolves, gromp, blue, little plant, and then gank top lane. This little plant provides the safety and makes sure you're not going to get counter ganked. Alright, so let's go ahead and watch the game. Assuming it's gonna play for me. Alright, there we go. Make sure we're focused in on Elise. Alright, so I really don't have too much to talk about in this sense. I'll just go over the difference between the jungle clears that Elise and someone like Udyr will do. So Udyr is usually going to be a full clear jungler where he will full clear his entire jungle before ganking, since in all honesty at level 3 I believe would be his first gank. He doesn't have that much gank potential. He just can run at you, and if someone has any semblance of map awareness, or if they even put down any type of warding, you just can get away from him. So this is why this ganking route is a lot more efficient against someone like Udyr, because you're able to get the scryers thing over here, and that allows you to make sure he's not going to counter gank you when you're going to top lane. So as we already went over the jungle path, instead of doing raptors, you would do wolves second, and then you would do your gromp before your blue buff, and then you would go get the little thingy up here. Alright, so like I said, Udyr should be doing a full clear. It appears he cleared his entire blue side of the jungle. So right now, so you do want to skip that one right there, because that one will give away your position more likely. And instead of stopping here to do the gromp, you would go immediately to. So if you skip the scuttle crab, you go up, you push that out, you can guarantee that you'll know exactly that Udyr is ganking before Talon does. Now, you did take a little while to recognize that, even though he did ping a couple times and it was available to be seen on your mini-map. Let me actually make sure I've got the Fog of War done correctly. You guys are blue side, okay. Alright, so let's go back real quick here. It went back a little bit too far, but alright, so this will show just what we were looking at a second ago, though. It's fine. Alright. Sorry, I've had a cough all day. Or for the last like week. Oh my goodness. Give me Elise, please. Okay. Good. Alright, so on your gank to the top lane here, I know we are just kind of centering around you. Talon does die. It could have prevented if you came a little earlier. Now, right here there is a very slight misplay. So when you queued him right there, that was the incorrect play. So what you would want to do in that situation right there, if it can pause for me. Alright, so let's jump back 15 seconds. That should be about the right amount of time. Alright, so as you come into gank, Udyr does get the stun off on you. So when you repel right here, you see that Yasuo's shield had regenerated right then. Yasuo got his passive shield back up right here. And so if you were able to recognize that he had gotten his passive shield back up, you would have auto-attacked first to clear the shield health, and then your Q execute would have killed him. You may not have gotten out away from the Udyr, but you would have gotten the kill on Yasuo, and that would have, it would have been a pretty even trade top lane. Alright, so that's really the only like actual mechanical mistake right here, so just make sure you keep an eye on people's passive shields and stuff like that. Alright, let's keep going. I don't know what's going on, everything's like taking its time to actually watch out, so you get out of this actually, don't you? Yeah, okay, so you make it out. So you would have traded the kill and gotten out. So now I guess another thing here is instead of going for the movement speed buff, if you had gone around the corner over towards the blasting cone, you would have been able to blasting cone out and you would have escaped. Also, Elise does have 25 more move speed in spider form than human form, so if you had been in spider form, that would have also increased your chances to get out. Alright, that's fine though. Alright, so mainly right now, since you don't have any vision in their jungle, you have no idea where Udyr is going to be, so the best thing to do right now is, like you do, is just go back to farming and then take gank opportunities whenever you can. Alright, I'm just going to speed up a little bit here, since I honestly have no idea what happens the rest of the game. I just want to look at some more, I guess, more critical points. Alright, so I'm pretty much only looking at what vision your team has right now. And at this moment, nobody has wards down. Okay, so right now, you see Udyr ganking bot lane. I'm guessing you should be going top lane right now. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Udyr's bot, he has no way to counter you top lane, so you should have ganked top lane at that moment. That or had gotten to mid lane quicker. Your little pathing up here, there was no point to make that move. You either needed to go straight to top lane or straight to mid lane. Now it looks like your Lucian is like really good or something, so he was able to get the kill there pretty easily bot lane. He triple killed bot lane. Alright, so you're not going to get this kill here, no matter what, since you don't have flash up, so just clear the wave, and then you can go back to jungling. That's perfect. And directed cam sucks. I wish it would just let me focus only on what Elise does the entire game, but that's okay. Alright, so pretty much right now, the only objective to take on the map currently is your Cloud Drake, so there's really nothing to do besides back. Alright, so now, one thing I will say, if you were going to back right there, but you did notice that your red buff was coming up right away, the only thing I'd recommend is backing before you do your red buff. That way, whenever you come back, see you're wasting about 40 seconds of your red buff timer by backing, buying, and then running back to the jungle. If you had saved that red buff for after you had backed, you would have an additional 30 seconds of red buff that you can use for clearing or ganking. So as they do gank bot lane, I guess you're coming in for the counter gank. Again, it would be one of those, make sure you're in spider form when you're approaching ganks, because you just run faster. That was a good kill, actually. Let me rewind that real quick. I just want to see how you got in range of that. Okay. Okay, so you didn't get rooted, you just hit the cocoon, and... okay, that was nice and easy. Okay. That's a fine gank. So yeah, now that y'all saw Udyr here, if you go up here to clear that ward real quick, or clear the vision plant, you'll know exactly where Udyr is. Like I said, right now, Udyr did run off to his topside jungle, but if you had done that, you'd have known for sure, making it a guaranteed dragon, knowing you couldn't get interrupted or anything like that. Alright, so dragon take is good. Let's speed up a little bit. Alright, just keep farming. Really, the mid game for a jungler is really kind of just a matter of, you want to get as much vision in the enemy jungle as often as possible, because right now your job is to keep track of their jungler, and their jungler job is to keep track of you. Because if you have wards all up in their jungle, let me pause real quick. Pause real quick here. So let me show a couple really good ward locations to place down. Alright, so right here, this is a great ward location. Assuming the game's gonna let me move my mouse anywhere. You do some better ones as well. Okay. It's just not gonna behave at all. I'll just mark them on the minimap if that'll be quicker. Yeah, I think that'll be quicker. So the bush right here, red buff brush, this brush, blue buff brush. There's a nice little ward location that's right over the Gromp wall on both sides, and right over the wolf wall. So pretty much the only way to know where their jungler is at all time is to constantly ward every single one of their jungle camps. If you're able to do that, you'll know exactly where their jungle is at all times. That's one of the only reasons I would say go the Hunter's enchantment instead of the Challenger's attachment, or enchantment, just because the extra 2 wards combined with your trinket wards means you can keep at least 2 or 3 of his camps warded at all times, and that just is much more beneficial, because if you have his camps warded, your lanes can't get ganked, and you'll know where he is, so you can get plays on the opposite side of the map or counter gank whenever he's coming in. Alrighty. Let's get back to the video. Back to Elise. Alright. So, like I said, it really is a pretty boring mid-game for junglers to do. There's really not much. Okay, so you are... Alright, let me see. I don't know if you had a ward available at that exact moment. I need to get the... Trying to find the magical interface. Ah, there it is. Alright, let's resume. Alright, so right now you did have... Okay, you'd already swapped to a sweeping lens. Alright. I'm trying to see why you ganked up here. Who gets away with the blast? Oh, no. Okay, alright, let's watch... I want to watch that fight over real quick. And I want to see, like, what led up to it. Okay, so let me go to y'all's vision. So y'all are blue team. Okay, so... Alright, so you have no vision on Udyr here at all. Udyr is right here. You have no idea that he's there. I'm just guessing you were ganking top just to gank top right now. That's the only thing I can think of since there's no objectives bot side. But, so I was just... So there is no real reason to gank here since he also is pretty close to his tower. It just so happens that you run right into Udyr here. Okay. And he didn't have vision on you, so neither junglers knew you were... Neither of y'all knew you were going to be there. It just so happened to work out pretty well. Alright. Yeah, I mean, you played that fight well. I mean, you didn't do anything incorrectly. That was a good fight. Okay. Let's see. Let's keep moving. And, okay. That was pretty quick. Let's see what happens here. Alright, so... After you getting top lane, you do have some pretty decent health, so I guess you get a ward here. No wards. I guess you don't have any wards. You could have put the control ward in this brush right here. That would have been the only thing I'd say do different. All right, so let's slow down here. I just want to see exactly how this fight goes. Okay, so we're going in. Alright, we got a good angle on him here. Alright, so why did you not lead with a cocoon? That's the only thing I can think of is you didn't cocoon him here in this fight. Let's go back and let's watch that one more time. Alright, so coming in. Okay. Alright, so you lead with an auto attack. He gets his dash onto you. Okay, there's the cocoon. Okay, I didn't see it. It kind of overlaid with the Veigar. Okay, so the repel there, you didn't need to stay up there the whole time since you had minions underneath you. But other than that, you can... Veigar is going to finish the kill, so that's fine. That's a good gank. It was actually pretty clean. Okay, we just go back to power farming. I wish your bot lane didn't crush so hard this game. You don't even have to go to your bot side except for when dragons are up. Just kind of annoying, but... Alright, so let's see, what are we on items? So we've got... Okay, so your first two items are these two. The only difference I'd say we talked about earlier would be just Moby boots instead. Alright, your bot side has a good job in the jungle with keeping wards up. So see, like, okay, alright, one more time about wards real quick. So, I wish I could zoom out farther, but the only thing I would say about wards again would be just the fact that, so you put a ward down here, this is in your side of the river when y'all's ward line is already over here and over here. So y'all have a ward line that's about a third of the way into their jungle, and you're dropping a red ward on the back side of your dragon that's a third of the way into y'all's jungle. So something like that's an unnecessary ward. It's pretty much wasted. It would have been much better to drop that ward in, say, either the little brush circled here or up into this brush right here. Since that is more in line with y'all's current ward line, it would just be more effective and more efficient, because this ward here does absolutely nothing. Alright, let's get back to this. Man, Jungle Vod reviews, like, the only thing I can ever do with them is just watch you farm, and then make sure you gank when you're supposed to gank, and make sure you counter jungle, or make sure you, not counter jungle, but counter gank whenever it's possible or reliable to. Man, okay, so, ooh, we actually take the risk out of this game. Okay, so they dove top lane and got the top lane kill, so that allowed for you to take the scuttler clean. That's fine. Alright, yeah, the only thing that would be different here is instead of taking the crab, so there's no reason to take the crab here since y'all had already taken the objective here. The only thing that would have been better is for you to go clear out mid wave. So bot lane's pushing, mid lane was pushing, and now y'all are taking 2 towers top lane. Huh. I don't understand why Azir backed. Azir could have taken that mid lane tower. No problem at all. And so it's 3 bot, 2 top. Y'all had the fight top lane, I would say, if you had chose to stay and taken it, since it was just their Udyr and Azir, both who have been losing the game pretty hard. Alright. Is there a fight here? Yes, okay. Alright, let's slow it down. So your optimal target in this fight here is going to be the Yasuo. That was perfect. Okay, so that auto landing before your W landing was actually really important. Okay, that was good. Okay, who ignited? What the hell? Alright, well, he didn't need to ignite there. Okay, dragon should be coming up really soon. Yeah, it's up in 1 second. So right now you should... Okay, that's a good ward to clear. You need so you need to have wards, because right now you're relying entirely on Scion to ward for your whole team, and you guys have no vision of this dragon whatsoever. Luckily, y'all are ahead enough and you're able to just push him off with brute force, but ideally you do want to have wards up. That way you can actually check over the walls. All right, Yasuo is top lane, so it's a good idea to start the dragon. I assume that's what your reasoning was for starting it right then, is just because you did see Yasuo top. Oh, what? Okay. Alright, that's rough. I'm sorry. Alright, so let's watch this real quick. Alright, so let's look at these numbers real quick, and shit. We'll go back a couple seconds here. Da-da-dum, da-da-dum. Okay, alright. We'll stop at about 2,000 health left. Alright, so right now you are level 8, so you are a level under Udyr here, so I can understand why you lose the smite fight, but so right now at level 8, Udyr's smite does 600 true damage, or at level 9 he does 600, yours is 570, so you're 30 damage less than Udyr right now. So I don't know if you noticed your level difference between each other. I mean, that's just a farm difference because you haven't been farming as much. You've been prioritizing more on ganking, and Udyr just has a faster clear after he gets his Bomby Cinder. But, so the optimal play here, you guys can 2v1 him really, really easy. You should have pulled off and just pushed him off it instead of letting him walk right in here. I just want to see how it plays out, though. Alright, so when Scion goes out to push him off... Okay, so... He flashed? What? I wish I could jump back like 2 seconds. That'd be so much easier for me to look at. Alright. We're at 57. Let's go to 47. Bring back to Elise. Okay. I just need to watch this as slowly as possible. I just want to see how he got the steal off from you. Okay, so you queued at 800 health on the dragon. So I know your Q isn't execute, so I do understand you know that. But so your combo in order to kill a dragon is to smite Q it at the same time, since smite is instantaneous. So right when you see it hit, because you have a 570 damage, right when you see it hit about 650, which is his execute range, you need to smite Q in front of him. That way your Q will finish off before his smite does. Other than that, stuff like so you smited, yeah, you smited early and then he smited right after. So it really was the fact that your Q was on cooldown is what prevented you from getting that. So if you had smite Q'd at the same time there, you would have had a perfectly easy dragon take there and nothing would have, he wouldn't have been able to steal it. And see how easily y'all 2v, you could kill him? Y'all could have easily just peeled off and killed him before finishing off and committing to the dragon as well. Alright. Yeah, so besides the misplay on like your actual execution of the dragon, that wasn't the worst thing in the world. Okay. Y'all just overcommitted to a fight you didn't need to take in a very bad choke point. Let's watch that fight one more time though. Okay, so initially y'all get the execution off on Yasuo, but you guys ran right into the feathers and a Azir in a choke point. As soon as y'all had killed the Yasuo, you should have backed off, since they have a much better teamfight comp than you guys do. Y'all's is a much more pick-oriented comp with Veigar, Talon, Elise. And y'all's Lucian was nowhere near the fight, so y'all needed to disengage right after the Yasuo. That's the only mistake there, was committing to the fight. You didn't misplay the fight itself, but committing to the fight itself was bad. Now, they stay too long, and I guess they escape? They shouldn't escape, but I guess they do. Alright, and we're back alive. Yay. Back to the fun stuff. Alright, so right now you've got you have your entire jungle alive. You never want to have your entire jungle alive. And especially since you're down 22 farm to Udyr, that's not a good thing. So one thing I would say is you just need to make sure, we'll wrap it up at the end of the video actually. We'll just do a quick, like, what are the main things we can improve on from this game particularly. Alright. Let's see, I think there's a couple kills coming up here in a second, so we'll start to slow down and see how this happens. Actually, no, I can speed up, and now I can slow down. Okay. Tower health is about half health, so y'all are just going to siege the tower here. Since y'all had the wave pushing top, y'all get a nice easy siege here. That's good. Alright. I'm guessing it takes an extra wave here. I'm trying to see how y'all get an engage here. It doesn't make sense to me how y'all get a good engage right now. Unless they step too far forward and Sion gets a good ult off on them. Okay, so Veigar TP's in. You're back here. Sion ults. He pretty much whiffed his ult. Alright, let's slow down here. Alright. Okay, let me look at your skill usage real quick at the start there. I don't think that I didn't see anything wrong, but I like skill usage is really important. Okay, speed up, and slow down to 0.5. Focus on Elise here. Alright, so Sion goes in. You are lagging pretty far behind your team. It was only about 2 seconds, so you... Alright, so you start Spiderling, Cocoon. Okay, so Spiderling, then Cocoon. It's perfect. Transform. Okay, good. Alright, so right now... Okay, Talon head. Okay. That was right. That was a good fight. Turret short. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Y'all should still be able to siege it pretty well here. Okay, so... Alright, so the only thing here is you did see that Yasuo wall before you threw that. Let's just skip forward since we already watched that fight once. Okay, where's Yasuo? Okay, so... Yasuo throws up his wind wall right there. That may have been in reaction. I'm pretty sure he threw it against the Scion, which shouldn't really work. You just got caught in a bad position there. That just synced up too well. Man. How the hell does this game go to 40 minutes? You guys are crushing them. Another thing here is you get more attack speed in spider form, so you could have swapped to spider form, taking the tower just slightly quicker. So since Lucian is pushing bot and Talon is pushing top here, you guys should commit to top lane, just rotate up through top lane and take care of their, steal pretty much his entire jungle here, since he's not going to be able to do anything about it. So you could have just gone up and taken his jungle, but it's not the end of the world. Alright. They did pull off backlane, or you're backing right on top of the Scuttle Crab. We had vision, you didn't have vision of Rakan, or not Rakan, but Xayah until just now, so Xayah could have been sitting right here, and she should have been able to kill you at that point, with, assuming she had her Blightwater up. So a couple more kills are going to come up here in about a minute's time. I'm guessing Veigar gets caught out and dies. Joyful? Alright, just pushing mid lane. Okay. Alrighty, let's see how this happens. Talon got chunked pretty hard here, so... Alright. So you guys actually have this entire area warded here. You guys know exactly where they're funneling into and where they're coming from, and you also know that you're down a man. League, like we talked about at Fridays, it's a numbers game. Everything's a numbers game. So you have to be extremely, extremely careful when taking large fights down a man. 21-12, we want to go to 21-02. I think that's about the start of the fight. Alright, so I think Talon is the one who engages the fight. So Talon goes in on Xayah. Xayah does not have her ult, so I guess that's an okay engage. But that leaves open for Rakan, and I completely missed your ability order there again. Sorry, let me do that one more time. Okay, so you go in on Rakan, so you know he has a charm and he's in his ult, so you going into melee range was a little bit of a mistake there. Especially since you didn't get off your execute because of it. You probably could have killed him with the execute. Okay, so now y'all disengage. Assuming you'll disengage, okay. That poke was unnecessary, but it also didn't harm you in any way either. Alright, let's get going again. Okay, big fight incoming it looks like, so let's see, where are you at? Sure, up in mid lane. Man, this cough is killing me. Hopefully I'll feel better for the next one I do. Alright, so you get a pick on Rakan. You do, okay, so their ults aren't, Rakan's ult is not up. Scion made an error there. Alright, you need to repel instantaneously there instead of wasting your flash. You could have repelled over to the Raptor camp knowing that it was up. So you could have saved your flash there. That's really the only thing I would say. Veigar and Lucian actually can probably just take this fight by themselves. So you're so low health, you don't need to be here at all right now. Especially since you don't have too much of a disengage since you just blew your flash. And you died because of it, right? Yeah. Alright, back 15 seconds. Let's watch how you died. Okay, just want to see what killed you. Okay, so you walked on to two Azir soldiers, and then you take a Runan's Hurricane Bolt. That all could have been prevented just by you backing. So the only thing that I would say there is you should have backed well before that time right there. Alright, let's go. Just want you alive again. Alright, so right now Dragon's up, Lucian is pinging for assistance. I'm assuming that's Lucian, it might have been you, but y'all did push the Azir tower down. Alright, Lucian gets caught here. You can't really go in on that with his dash. Yeah, that's fine. And another fight is about to happen. Holy crap. Y'all fight a lot. Like, so much. And I feel like that's why y'all let this game go on as long as it does, is because y'all took a lot of fights when you could have just been pushing towers. Pushing towers and objectives. Alright, so right now, you see that they're all bot side right here? Yeah, like, I don't know if you saw this at the moment, but they were all bot side. Especially Yasuo. Yasuo's TP is up. I don't know if y'all were keeping track of TP timers, but it has been about 6 minutes since he TP'd, so it's going to be up no matter what. I don't see why you're here in mid lane when your entire jungle is available for farming. Especially since you don't have an AD carry, so y'all don't have a good way to push a tower against the wave clear they have in Azir, and Yasuo. You guys don't have a good way to siege right now, so what you should have been doing is either A, counter jungling and taking Udyr's farm, or B, farming your jungle. Because I mean, like, you're, no offense, but you accomplish nothing by standing there and doing that. Alright. I don't know if y'all get a little pick here or not, but yeah, that's good that Veigar stole that. Alright, y'all turn on Yasuo right away. So instead of pathing down towards Udyr, all y'all had to do is just go, no, what the hell? Okay, you got a good thing on him, so you need to stay on top of Udyr. I guess he stunned you. You could have repelled instantaneously and dropped down on him on the other side, but it's not the biggest deal. Alright, yeah, good call for the dragon. Their Yasuo is dead and their Udyr just backed off. Talon's keeping them occupied, so you guys have a free dragon take. Assuming your team decided to come with you. The dragon's the right call, that's very good. Dragon's the right call there 9 times out of 10. Alright, Sion eventually came, cool. It's solely the right call. Alright, let me watch the smite. Oh, what happened? Alright, let's see here. 24, 26. 24, like 14. That should be good enough. Okay. Man, you need to learn your smite damage, because you're at 680. I know you're not in threat of being stolen right here, but it's always a good idea to make sure your smite's at the right time. So you smited at 900, which was, I mean, that's a whole 200 damage, 200 damage more, or that's 230 damage more to be exact. But so that leaves it here. That could be stolen by an Azir Q, a Xayah auto attack, a Yasuo Q. Pretty much anyone's auto attack or something could have stolen it. And then, I mean, you do get your execute, but it was like, there was a slight delay in your execute there. Like, because you can cast them at the exact same time. Like, you can smite Q, like, instantaneously, and to guarantee that you get the kill, because there's no global cooldown on summoners. Bum-bum. Alright, so let's see. It looks like there's another fight coming up here. Let's slow down here. So Veigar picked off Udyr behind y'all's blue buff, or behind y'all's blue buff. Alright, so y'all do have a man advantage and your AD carry is with you. Right now, all they have left are their base towers. Their inhib towers, so you guys don't really have a really good objective to take right now without the Baron buff. That was another... Alright, so you're still in human form here. I can't say I know why. Like, if you had transitioned, you want to take Mosher fights in spider form. I don't know if, I think it still has the inherent increased magic resist. Let me double check real quick. Spider form, basic, yeah. Okay, so you lifesteal a little bit, that's what it is. Okay. Alright, so you just didn't need to walk up into melee range there. Let me rewatch that real quick. Okay. Alright, so Veigar gets caught. That's his fault. Like, so when you walked up right there, that was the mistake you made. If you hadn't walked up towards the Yasuo and had just stayed back by your Lucian, I think y'all could have maybe taken that second half of the fight. It was going to be a 4v3, but it could have gone a lot better than that. So now if the enemy team is smart, they have a free Baron here. It's a 2v5 when they have that much clear. Luckily they choose not to go for Baron. they push towers, which is what it is. But y'all could have lost Baron on that engage simply because you walked too far forward and got yourself caught out with the rest of your team. Alright. Okay, so it's been about 8 minutes and you've only gotten 7 farm in the last 8 minutes. So just make sure you keep farming the jungle as often as possible because you're just letting so much gold go to waste. I'm not sure, but I think Udyr might have more effective gold than you do at this point, just on the fact that he's got 40 extra jungle creeps worth of farm. Okay, oh, so y'all do lose a Baron here. Okay, let's see, how does this fight go? So Veigar gets engaged on the top side. You and... okay, so why... you should have... a Cocoon was on cooldown. Okay. Repel? Okay, so you didn't get a chance to repel at all there. Okay, let's look at the fight real quick. Just want to see it from the start. Okay, so Veigar gets caught up at the top. That is what it is. Once y'all saw Veigar get caught, and you guys don't have your AD carry with you at all, that's... I'd say it's his fault for not being there, but you should have recognized that your AD carry wasn't there and pinged your team off. They may not have listened, but it'd still be a wise thing to do. Where is your Cocoon? Okay. It shows your Cocoon never went on cooldown. I'm not sure why. Okay, Rakan did time that very well, and Yo just got collapsed on from all sides. I'm guessing this is what leads to the Baron take by them. Yeah. Okay, so they get Baron. Baron's gone. They do a lot of pushing. Okay, let's see where we at now. Alright, so you're... okay, that's a little more farm. So like I said, you had 45 farm at 20 minutes. It's been 8 minutes and you've only gotten 20 farm. So, like, you've, like, effectively only farmed, like, half of what you could have. Your team gets caught. They didn't need to be taking that fight. You weren't in the wrong there. You did need to clear the jungle and clear the minion wave here mid lane. I'm guessing you're, like, pinging or typing to your team right now instead of killing the minions here and letting the farm go to waste. Either that or you just decided AFK would be a good thing to do right now. Don't do that unless you absolutely have to, because your cats or dogs on fire or something, I don't know.
Yeah, I just put mistakes on it.
Okay.
You know,
Thank you. Okay. Alright, sorry about that. It's almost dinner time apparently. So, alright. I'm trying to watch this fight here. So Talon gets engaged on, he's taking damage. You got a Cocoon in on Rakan. Udyr's taking tower damage. Yeah, you really do just need to pull off this tower. I don't see how you live here. Okay, alright, so you're able to just get out. Okay, that's fine. Veigar couldn't ult that, actually. No? Okay, let's slow back down. Alright, so that was a very good... your sidestep there prevented the Osso Q from hitting. You do need to repel, or Zanya's, before you die here. If he had stayed in range, you could have gotten the kill and then escaped. Lucky you. Alright, so you're so low health, you have no business being here again. Like, this is it. We talked about it earlier, so I'm not gonna hound on it again. Your more effective tool would have been to just... you should have just backed, and then you could have pushed with the top wave. Alright, so we're back. Getting some tank items, that's fine, since they have a... they do have a really balanced team comp, so it's not like there's a certain way to build this. Alright, here we go. Let's see, have we learned? Alright, 1,300, we've got 760 damage. Okay, I mean there was no contest, I guess you didn't need to smite, but good. At least you're the one who got the kill on it. Holy shit. That went quick. Alright, let's pull back real quick and watch this fight again. Alright, so Veigar gets the pick on Xayah, or no Xayah, Rakan. And you come up in spider form, slow it down. Alright, so he's getting hit. You get the stun. Except for he has... Why did you not get the stun? You might have hit him while he was in invulnerability, but that's fine. Alright, that was a really good repel to dodge the Zaya pullback. That was actually perfect. That was actually really, really well done. Alright, he gets bursted by those two. So you right now, you have flash up. You should like, okay, so you stopped auto the minion. I'm not exactly sure why, but you could have flash cocooned past the minion onto. Did you have? I don't know if you didn't have cocoon up or something here, but if you had thrown the cocoon off earlier onto his ear, y'all could have kept that fight going a little while longer and gotten more out of it. Sorry, I don't know if your cocoon was on cooldown and the UI was just glitched, but if you had flashed past the minion instead of taking the time to attack the minion, you would have gotten a guaranteed kill on his ear since Talon was still alive to follow up at that point. It's not the biggest thing, it was just a single micro misplay during a team fight, but it could be very, very unbeneficial in the long run. Alright, so you should have let Talon be the one to come up here and get this since he had teleport, and you should have just spent the time farming your jungle, really. Okay. You'll actually get a pick here. Alright, so y'all took a fight on a Udyr who can run away while your team's getting shoved in hard on mid lane. I'd say that's just a mistake. Since y'all did have vision of mid lane, y'all knew that they were there. So I can't say that that's worth it or not. Or I can't say that it would be worth it. It's not worth it whatsoever. Now they have the inside track on y'all mid lane. Okay, so they take the fight here. You still have flash. You should have flashed and killed Azir right there. You should have. I don't know why you still haven't gone spider form yet, but you have to flash. You have to flash. Oh, he walked back into range. Oh, that's just free. Okay, I'll take it, I guess. That's a little ridiculous that he just walked right back up into you. I mean, they had the inside track. One of y'all. Yeah, that was just bad from y'all. All three of y'all chasing two people up here while they had a push on the inside track on mid lane. Shouldn't let that happen, especially when y'all have wards. You should have pulled straight to mid lane, and I think y'all could have taken a better fight mid lane than they could have. Alright, so now we are at 33 minutes. That's another 5 minutes later, and there's another 10 farm under your belt, so... it's alright. It's only the first. It's the first one. Okay. Alright, so Baron spawning in 30. You'll have decent ward coverage on it. Let's see, what's the dragon timer here? I don't think I get dragon timers, do I? Until it's about to spawn. We're just gonna be Elder Drake next, at least, so it's always good to know. Alright, let's see, what does this push bot lane yield? Alright. So y'all have no vision over that wall. Y'all have no idea who's right here. Okay, Veigar does reveal that Yasuo's top. Yasuo did get his back off. Udyr's top. Okay, so y'all can take this fight here, right? No? That was rough. He died with Lock It Up. He could have used Lock It and survived. Y'all just need to disengage as fast as you can. You had flash up, you shouldn't have gotten caught by that. It's your fault. Flash the wall. Flash the wall when you spawn. No? Okay. Yeah, that was a waste of flash. It would have been better for you to flash over the wall at an angle there. And again, you should be in spider form right now since you run faster in spider form. And, oh no, don't die to the minion. You short-armed it. Holy crap. You can get out of this. Alright, well. Glad you survived, but that was just a horrid fight. Y'all should have backed out immediately. Y'all stayed way too long after Scion got caught. Y'all had no one there to soak any damage after that. Okay. Alright, Baron's up, Dragon's up in 25 seconds. Obviously you guys do need to do a good job here of denying vision on the Baron. So you guys can see Rakan was up there clearing and setting up vision himself. So y'all should be able to clear this really quickly. Okay, why did y'all start this Baron? Why? I really don't understand why y'all started the Baron here. Okay, alright, there was Udyr. Udyr did step on that ward there. Okay. Alright, Udyr's there. Really, that's a good Baron call. Let me just pause and I just want to see where everyone on the map is, though. I have no idea. So we have no idea where red team is. Okay, Yasuo had backed, but he does have TP. They do have a ward down in the pit. They were just out of position. That's a really good Baron call. Whoever made it on your team, if it was you, that was a solid call. Nothing wrong with it at all, especially since Yasuo didn't. Okay, oh, shit. Alright, okay, so we're at... we slow down here. Alright, we're at 825 and you do 850. Smite, right now. Yes, it works. Alright, good job. That was a good secure, because if you had gotten charmed, I don't think you can smite while charmed. And he may have been able to get some really, really stupid steal off on y'all. In case y'all picked their AD carry and their support. Alright. He had GA. Really have GA? Wow, what a dick. Sorry, I cannot speak at all today. Gotta throat still what it is. Alright, so y'all have the Baron buff. Y'all have 3 dragons. This Elder Drake is really important for y'all to get. The only reason they would want to take it is to deny it from y'all, but y'all do have a bot lane pushing, although you should have only sent Talon back. So if Talon had back to clear the bot wave, you could have been on this Elder Drake right away with Lucian and Scion and Veigar, since Talon's the one with teleport. They both have teleport, but either way, y'all did misplay by all of y'all backing. Y'all should have sent only one person back to clear the waves, and then you guys should have taken control of the Dragon Pit first. I don't think that's going to affect the outcome of the game, although they're only down 1k gold at this point, 1.5k. But that was just a misplay for everyone to back. It may have just been one of those, because you guys had the Baron buff, you had the lane, you would have had lanes pushing, and y'all could have had control of the Dragon Pit. Elder Drake secures the game for y'all there. If y'all get Elder Drake plus Baron at 38 minutes with three elementals to back it up, you're just going to have so much on-hit damage, it's not going to matter what happens. Alright, let's just fast forward. I just want to see the final fight here, and then that's going to be pretty much the end of it all. Alright, so Veigar's bot side, you and Veigar both bot side, they have the track on mid lane. Those bot wave is huge, and it's going to be collapsing on their tower. Your top wave should be pushing as well. Okay, let's speed it back up so we can actually get to the fight. Alright, so you start with a cocoon. I don't think the cocoon had a chance of hitting, but it's okay. If it did get lucky and hit, it would have been real nice. Alright, so Scion's gonna engage. Let's see, how does he engage this? Oh wow. He actually, he only gets Udyr. Alright. Veigar gets onto the back line. I'm guessing he ults Xayah here. Okay, no, he ults. That was good. I'm really just kind of watching what you've done this fight. The heal. I'm guessing you had Cocoon up there? Yeah. Cocoon? Cocoon. I know it's up. Good. That stops his ult in its tracks and allows you all to finish the kill. That's good, Cocoon. And I guess y'all just kind of win the game right now, right? Y'all should just be able to push right down mid lane since you still have a couple 45 seconds of Baron buff, maybe? It's about 45 seconds left. Yeah, right about 45. Y'all don't even need a minion wave at this point with how with Scion. Okay. Alright. Perfect. Okay. Alrighty here. So let me oh crap, before I knock over something in my room. Let me fix that. Alright, so let's just go over a couple of the key things here that we want to look at for just in all of the game. So first things first was the jungle route against a jungler like Udyr, who is going to generally do a full clear. He didn't do one that time, but still would have been, I'm trying to think of a good word for it, but 9 times out of 10 Udyr is a power farming jungler. He is going to do something of the likes of, I'm going to essentially full clear my entire side of the jungle, starting from here and just, you know, going all the way through and then making his first back right up there. Alright, second, your jungle clear in response to something like that is either red buffs or raptor start. Preferably red buff with Elise, since your level 1 AoE clear is not enough. You need someone like Graves. Grog is someone with a lot more level 1 AoE. You only have your Spiderling plus the attack speed steroid. It won't be enough to clear raptors efficiently. So red buff, wolves, blue buff, and then you can either go, this is like a split decision. You can either go Gromp here, or you can peel up, get the plant, and check their raptors and stuff, and then you can either make the decision to gank top from there or gank mid from there, depending on where the enemy jungler is. So if you should see him with this plant. Most games you're going to see him with that plant, either doing Gromp, doing red, or you'll see him at the raptor buff. So you should see him there, and that'll let you know if you see him there. The easier, if you see him up at Gromp, easier gank is mid. If you see him at raptors, you can either harass, poke him, get a ward down at his red buff, and then gank top. Either way, you'll know if he's going to be counter ganking you, and that sets you up for a lot more success early on in the game. Because if you see he's moving up to counter gank you, you don't have to force gank. You can just pull back, get the scuttle crab, and then finish your rest of your buffs down here. Alright, the next thing was the misplay at top lane. Let me pull back to it real quick. It's under Q is where I have it saved at. Yeah, it's this first very first kill top lane. So this was you doing the scuttle crab. That's what delayed you getting there. If you had been there first, it would have been a lot more efficient. Now, just rewatching the replay real quick. So you should have saw he was in range. That's okay though. All right, so you go spider form here. You repel. All right, you queued first. If you had auto attacked first, the auto plus the spiderling attack would have destroyed his damage shield, because he negates pretty much the first ability done to him at all times. That's just what his passive is. I don't know the exact damage needed to break it. Additionally, shield when moving, the shield triggers when he takes damage. Yeah, so it was going to trigger with the first auto attack, leaving you open to a Q execute, and you get a kill there. You will just kill him there if you do that. So that was the mechanical misplay. Next thing is the dragon take here. You smite it early. That was on you. You just smite it early. Happens. Just make sure you know your smite damages. After that, trying to think the rest. This was another fight that should not have happened. Y'all chose to fight in their jungle in a disadvantaged situation with your AD carry out of the way and your mid laner already dead. That wasn't a good fight. Trying to find the converse fight. Where was the other one? I'll say it was right here. It's the fight at the bot lane. I'm trying to find the fight at the bot lane. I'm gonna see the bot lane fight, but oh yeah, this is the mid lane fight I wanted to talk about. So you come up here and you, Talon, and other people, you guys all chase this Udyr here while your AD carry and AP carry, while people are getting collapsed onto mid lane. So y'all's chase here was completely unnecessary, and getting this kill on a Rakan means nothing when they have the inside track to mid lane. This is what gets them the inhibitor. I think you'll actually get a couple kills here out of the fight, but giving up that mid lane inhibitor was much more costly. Alright, let's check here. Alright, this was the bot lane fight. Let me pull it back it's about 15 seconds from here, I think. Maybe 15 more. Alright, so you guys step up. Sion gets rooted by Xayah here, and y'all should have just left. Y'all needed to leave right then. Going back in there was really worthless. Y'all were in a 2v4 situation. Y'all give up a whole lot there. And then your flash should have been across the wall there or across the wall there instead of away that way. You still get out of it, but y'all shouldn't have survived that. Let me watch the smite here again as well. Okay. 1,300. You Q at 1,000 and then immediately. Okay, perfect. That was good. That was a good smite secure. It wasn't a smite fight, but it was still a good secure. Right here is when y'all. The chase was kind of unnecessary. And then all of y'all back. So right here, it only should have been one person backing, because y'all give up this entire area where y'all have no vision on the Elder Drake. It didn't matter in the long run, but it would have been more efficient for you guys to only send one person back and the rest of you can contest for the Elder Dragon. Trying to think. Other than that, I think that's about it. So bear with me. That's like my first VOD review I've done in like 6 months for League, so I'm out of practice. So I know I rambled on for a little while. It took about a whole hour for a 38-minute game, but there was a lot to go through, and I had a couple pausing moments in there where I had to check on something. I'm gonna do things a little bit different next time. So with your Gragas video, since this one I focused a little more on like what your team was doing as a whole, I'm really only gonna focus on your stuff in the Gragas review. And other than that, I think that's about it. Recap on the things. Rune page needs to be changed to this thing exactly. You can pause the video here to do that. That we can get the exact one you need down. The build could have been a little bit different. Since they only had one tanky member and y'all had 1.5, you could have easily swapped out your Dead Man's plate for a Rylos Crystal Scepter, since the slow on the Spiderling allows for more picks, since y'all had a pick comp rather than a team fight comp. So that'd be the only 2 build changes I would do for what you had set up here. Those are, of course, that's situational depending on the game, but this game in particular, when they had a more team fight comp with a split push with a team split push that transitions into a team fight with Yasuo split pushing and TPing into fights, versus y'all, which had a Elise, Veigar, and Talent, which is very heavily focused on picking off people one by one and then taking number advantage team fights. And then the fact that Elise just runs faster in spider form, that's the other thing. You run much faster in spider form. It's like you get 25 extra movement speed in spider form, so that increases your speed clear and increases your gank potential. So you come in spider form, and then you only transition to human when you want a cocoon. Other than that, it was a pretty good game. I don't know. Let me see what your scoreline was at the end of it. It was something of the. Let me see. Let me fast forward to like 40 something minutes here. Victory 10-6-12. You died a couple times unnecessarily just because you got too close to a team fight or misused an ability, but other than that, your clear was pretty well done, just not the correct path. But everything else was pretty well done in the mid game, and y'all almost through the game, but you know, y'all brought it back, so that's good. All right, that's it for now. I'm gonna post this to YouTube, and I'm gonna send you a link to it. So, thank you. God, this cough has to go away.